You probably think of mosquitoes as a minor seasonal annoyance, a high-pitched buzz in the dark, a quick slap, and the problem is solved. However, across the globe, the physical profile of this insect is shifting. Higher global temperatures are producing mosquitoes that are larger, stronger, and more resilient than those of previous decades. Look at this map charting the spread of the Anopheles mosquito over the last 120 years. Every single year, their territorial boundary pushes 6.4 meters further south into Africa, claiming ground that was previously too cold for them to inhabit. Along with that new territory comes a longer lifespan. The heat provides the endurance needed to push into altitudes and latitudes that used to act as natural barriers. As extreme weather events become more frequent, heavy rains and severe flooding leave behind massive pools of stagnant water. To a mosquito, a flooded palm grove is an unchecked incubator. A hotter, wetter earth provides millions of miles of new real estate, but the heat also alters their development and final physical size, a process that begins the moment the egg hits the water. The mosquito life cycle is broken into 4 distinct stages, and while we fight them in the air, 3/4 of their life is spent entirely underwater. Once hatched, the larva lives submerged, breathing air through a snorkel-like tube at its rear called a siphon. Hanging upside down, it uses mouth brushes to sweep microorganisms into its digestive tract. The energy stockpiled during these 4 molts determines the adult's ultimate size. This chart shows larval development time based on water temperature. The time drops sharply as the water warms from 22 to 32 degrees Celsius. When the water heats up, the metabolic rate rises, digesting food faster to reach maturity in a fraction of normal time. When you compress the growth cycle, you get faster generational turnover. A puddle that once produced 1 batch of mosquitoes in 2 weeks can suddenly produce 2 or 3, causing an exponential population spike. After its final molt, the insect becomes a pupa. It rests near the surface inside an armored shell, rebuilding its internal anatomy to survive above water. Eventually, the pupal casing splits. The adult female steps out onto the water's surface, dries her wings, and takes flight. Her head is equipped with a specialized tool, the proboscis. It houses a complex set of blades and tubes designed to slice tissue and draw blood. Because she grew up in a heat-accelerated aquatic factory, her physical machinery is more robust. She emerges measurably larger than mosquitoes raised in cooler waters. A larger female requires a greater volume of blood to fuel her reproductive cycle. She bites aggressively and feeds longer to fill her expanded abdomen. A faster aquatic cycle produces more mosquitoes, and those mosquitoes are bigger and hungrier. This directly increases their capacity to carry and transmit heavy viral loads of dengue and malaria. When we see a mosquito, we usually try to spray it out of the air, but fighting a flying insect is difficult, and it only addresses the symptom of the problem. Their true weakness is the aquatic assembly line. Before growing wings, the larvae are clustered together in small pools, exposed and unable to escape. The most effective countermeasure is habitat destruction. By emptying flower pots, old tires, and other domestic sources of stagnant water, we shut down their incubators. For larger bodies of water, we can introduce biological controls. Certain fish species naturally hunt the larvae. We can also apply BTI, a bacteria that specifically targets and destroys mosquito larvae from the inside out, without harming the rest of the ecosystem. Striking at the aquatic stage is a mathematical necessity. Eliminating 100 larvae today prevents thousands of future offspring from multiplying in the heat of next week. Defeating the deadliest animal on the planet requires cutting off its supply lines. It starts by drying up the incubators in our own backyards, neutralizing the biological advantage that a warming climate provides.